The HUD BSPRA or BSPRA credit is a unique feature of the HUD 221D4 new construction or substantial rehabilitation program. In essence, it's an alternative to a developer's fee. HUD does not allow for-profit borrowers in a market rate development to secure a developer's fee as a mortgageable line item. By pursuing the BSPRA credit, you in effect get a developer's fee. However, rather than cash that is coming back to you at closing or paid out of surplus cash on an ongoing basis once the project is built, the purpose of the credit is to increase mortgage proceeds, and by increasing mortgage proceeds, you're reducing your cash due at closing. So you're taking equity that would be due at closing and building it into the loan itself. Under the 221D4 program, there are two core criteria that we use to determine the mortgage amount. One is based upon debt coverage, basically what your rents and expenses can support for a loan amount, and one is based upon loan to cost. Inherently, in order to add in the credit to the transaction to build up the mortgage to reduce your equity at closing, your rents and expenses, the mortgage based upon debt coverage, needs to be larger than the mortgage based upon cost. BSPRA helps a project like this. Let's assume no BSPRA, scenario one. A project has $9 million in hard and soft costs, and you're acquiring land in a new construction scenario for $1 million. Your total replacement cost from a HUD perspective is $10 million. If BSPRA were not part of the program, if you were not pursuing BSPRA, on a market rate transaction at time of recording, you get 87% leverage, 87% of cost. So 87% of 10 million is $8.7 million. You would assume that if the loan's covering $8.7 million, you would come up with $1.3 million in cash. The following source and use is reflective of that. $9 million hard and soft costs, $1 million for the land acquisition, $10 million costs, $8.7 million, $1.3. In reality, HUD would have you set aside some money for contingency purposes at initial closing that gets returned to you at construction completion and stabilization, but for demonstrative purposes, those aren't relevant for this video. Now let's do the same scenario with BSPRA. So assume a project has $9 million in hard and soft costs. You're acquiring land for $1 million. Total replacement cost is $10 million. BSPRA is 10% of hard and soft costs, not including itself. So $9 million hard and soft times 10%, $900,000. When adding BSPRA to the previous cost of $10 million, now you have 10.9. So here's the same source and use of funds. 9.9 million, including 900,000 in BSPRA, buying the land for $1 million, $10.9 million total replacement costs, times 87% would be a loan of $9.483 million. So naturally you would think I have to bring more money to close than the previous example. I'd have to bring in $1.4 million, the difference between 10.9 minus 9.4. But in reality, the BSPRA credit is offsetting itself. It's both a source and use of fund. It's netting itself out. Its sole purpose is to increase mortgage proceeds, but because it's not an actual use to be paid, it's not a true cost to be paid during construction, all it's doing is helping reduce your cash. It's not considered a credit risk because it's the same as any other mortgageable cost. As long as your rents and expenses can support including that cost into the mortgage amount, HUD doesn't care. Now, the reality is there are some caveats or provisions in order to qualify for BSPRA. If you're pursuing an affordable project with tax credits or RAD conversion, Section 202, whatever, you can build in a developer's fee as a mortgageable cost, but you can't do a developer's fee and BSPRA in the same loan. And again, a developer's fee is only eligible for affordable projects. Borrowers must be for-profit, but a nonprofit can apply as a for-profit entity. Typically, you're forming an LLC where the nonprofit is 100% owner of the LLC. It's eligible under 221D4, 220, and 231. These are kind of similar programs to 221D4. For the purpose of this video, just to know that the terms of the 221D4 program are broadly applicable to the 220 and 231. 241A supplemental loans and 232 healthcare projects are not eligible for BSPRA. And mechanically, structurally, as an owner or developer looking to pursue BSPRA, you need to form a relationship between the contractor and the owner. Even if you're a related entity where you're going to be doing the construction and the kind of warm body ownership, you still need to form a relationship on paper between the contractor entity and the ownership entity. Reason being, the BSPRA credit, in effect, by definition, is the builder pledging their builder's profit towards the transaction as a true equity partner. The builder can still receive their general conditions, or general requirements, their builder's overhead. They just cannot receive a specific builder's profit line item from mortgage proceeds. Now, typically, if you're going to be the builder and developer all in one, that's not as big a deal because as builder, you can still collect, again, general requirements, conditions, builder's overhead, and it's like one hand washing the other. You're not going to get the builder's profit, but you're going to have a reduction in cash at closing. If you're hiring a true arm's length third party general contractor, then it becomes a little bit more challenging. It becomes a cost benefit analysis for both parties to say, hey, general contractor, can you not collect a builder's profit out of mortgage proceeds, but maybe we can form a side agreement where if you're a true equity partner, you're going to be getting ongoing cash flow once the project is built, or have some sort of side agreement. All you need to know fundamentally is that you need to form that relationship with the builder. Here's a sample of what that type of structure would look like from a previous transaction. You can see it's pretty black and white, pretty simple. We have a mortgage or entity, ABC LLC. You have a variety of members, warm body members. Then the contractor is also a member. There's not necessarily a hard minimum requirement that the contractor has to own, but it has to be something that would be reasonable past a sniff test. So if they're a minority partner, 1-2% ownership, that should still be fine. We just need to show that on paper, there is that relationship binding the owner and the contractor. So I hope that was helpful. Appreciate you watching. Please reach out anytime with questions, and thank you again.